My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to Slay the Spire. Now, you might have noticed this isn't a daily run. It doesn't say so in the title, and this is usually the time at which I would upload the daily. I've done the daily, I got to the final floor, I got to the final boss, and I died. But after I recorded that episode, I thought back on it and I was like, I kind of beefed it in terms of the commentary. It was just really muddled and just off track and rambly and waffly and repetitive. So instead of uploading that, I'm just going to record another run, and I'm going to record something much more simple. We're just going to play an Ironclad run on Ascension 1, because since I've done all of the Ascension and then immediately started doing challenge runs and daily runs, I haven't really gotten back in touch with what the game at base is, what the experience that most people have with the game is. And I feel like a lot of the time in the daily runs, you feel like there's something, it feels more like a puzzle, like something that you're looking to do. Like, oh, I got, for example, today's daily was Sharon's Ashes as my opening relic. Well, now I have to look for a discard, sorry, not for a discard build, but for an exhaust build, and then I've got to go to as many shops as possible, see if I can pick up corruption. Oh no, everything's a question mark. How am I going to get to the shops? Blah, 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 blah. And I think when you're given an opening relic like that, and when the run is then also slated against you with all the negatives that you oftentimes get in challenge runs, I feel like often you get railroaded onto a very singular line of thinking, and I feel like that's pretty much what happened to me. So instead, I'm gonna do something more freeform. Let's go. 250 gold for 50% of my HP. Don't mind if I do. Let's go. Get this super early shop here, and we can just ignore anything we don't want. Hell yes. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be healing much after this fight. I will actually go with the double poke there. Wasn't worse, wasn't better than any other flavor. Regen potion's a really nice pickup, considering. I could go for an evolve build. Sure. Take a copy of Evolve. First archetype kind of idea that I've seen. Oh, well now I would want to go, if I'd gotten to this shop, Rupture plus Self-Forming Clay. Champion's Belt is also really powerful. Actually, Champion's Belt Thunderclap. Now I've got the ability for 1 energy to apply weakness to everything. I've now got to downplay the idea of using Evolve. Let's remove another card from my deck. If we only have 10 cards, we can actually have Evolve always draw us a full hand. So let's try and aim towards that. But also outside of that, I do just want to get a lot of weakness in this deck where available. Beautiful. Keeps the vulnerability up. 2 strikes kills. Excellent. I'll take a second copy of Thunderclap. Usually I'm not too interested in taking second copies of things, but when it's something as defining as vulnerability in a run that already has the Champion's Belt, whenever you apply vulnerability, also apply 1 weak, that is going to be really important for us. I've also popped the regen potion here because I believe I'll be in this fight for at least enough turns to use it quite effectively. And I'm going to do another Thunderclap there just to apply weakness for another turn. So at the moment, if I take 1 damage here by not killing him this turn, I heal up 3 by the regeneration. But at the moment, since when I draw a wound, I draw another card, I'm not actually getting a benefit out of the Evolve. What I need to do is upgrade it so that when I draw a wound, I draw 2 cards instead. Take the Mercury Hourglass. At the start of your turn, deal 3 damage to all enemies, and then another regen potion is really handy. Uppercut is less important than it typically is. Uppercut is oftentimes important as a way to include weakness in your Ironclad build, but we already have that. So Uppercut for us, a lot of the time, is going to be a worse Thunderclap. A single target worse Thunderclap. I could easily take a Pommel Strike, though. No. No, we'll hold off. I trust that better things will appear later. With another regen potion, I feel pretty compelled to go for a bunch of elites right now. And I can go for 2 more elites in the next 2 spaces, in fact. Another regen potion, damn. Okay, shuffle 2 more wounds into your draw pile. Whenever you draw... No, I can't do that. I can't do that. Otherwise, I'll have 4 wounds. Those 4 wounds will draw me 6 cards, because then I've run out of space. Like, let's think of a scenario where I draw all of the wounds and I have 2 evolves active, and these are base evolves, right? So each of them draws me 2 cards, which means that I get a card of a hand of 6 normal cards and 4 wounds, which is bad because it means that I can't use draw effects after that. But also, I was originally going to draw 5 anyway, so how have I helped myself? Turn that down. Start using a regen potion immediately. Use 2 Thunderclaps so that I can remove everyone's artifacting, deal some damage in AoE, but more importantly, apply a weakness. Now, unfortunately, it's pretty important here that I get that evolve active, so that I can get back to my other Thunderclaps faster. And yes, I know each of those wounds is only drawing me 1 card. So without those 2 wounds, I would have drawn this. I would have had the same hand, right? Except I need to get the evolve out of my deck right now so that I don't draw it again, the power itself. This will become better later. When other enemies start putting wounds in my deck, it becomes better. But also, as soon as I upgrade the card itself, that is evolved, so that it draws me 2 cards from every wound, then we're in much more reasonable territory. Alright, Strawberry to raise my max HP by 7. Don't mind if I do. I could take a Wild Strike, but the more that I play that Wild Strike, the worse I make my deck. That's not strictly true, actually. Obviously, because of the evolve. But the Wild Strike is really, really high damage for a very low amount of mana. Which is exactly what we want alongside this whole vulnerability build we're doing. I'm going to take a Wild Strike. I'm not going to take another one, but I'll take that one. Vajra at the start of each combat, gain 1 strength. Quite glad to see it. Really pleased that I'm going to be able to open here with a great opening. Oh, man. Look at that opening. Double vulnerability, double weakness. I've already got my evolve power active. This could scarcely have been better. Enemy's already weak for the next 2 turns, and it's only attacking for 2 turns, so I will use a defend here as well as a strike. So I've used Wild Strike twice, and I've used Evolve once, so I've got 4 wounds in my deck. With a 5th wound in my deck, it is possible that I overload my hand. With Wild Strike and Vulnerability, I think I trust myself to be able to kill this Lagavulin in the next 2 turns. Beautiful. And if I can kill it in the next 2 turns, that means that the turn before where I was debating, it wasn't important for me to attack. So I could defend that turn because I didn't take any damage past that point. Anchor, start each combat with 10 block. Perfect pickup. We've already removed way too many strikes from our deck to take an impervious. Sorry, an impervious. Perfect strike. This isn't a deck for impervious. We weaken our enemies and then we aggressively destroy them. Alright, first Smith has to be on the evolve. That's pretty much non-negotiable. I'm going to set up the backline target to die in a single double hit, I guess. No, single hit, of course. Forgot about my AoE. And now with this evolve, we should just be able to draw a full hand. Yep. That hand's looking pretty full to me. I do have one more wound in my deck. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. But fortunately, we did get lethal. Art of War. If you don't play any attacks during your turn, gain an extra energy next turn. Interesting. Not sure when I'll use that. I think I want to take Rage, because a lot of the time I just play attacks. So playing a single Rage and then going, you know, Thunderclap, Thunderclap is going to be, when Rage is upgraded at the very least, 12 block. So it's 1 energy for 12 block. I think that's going to be consistent enough that I'll use that. And I think it's going to be consistent enough, in fact, that I'll upgrade the Rage so that I can use it as my primary form of defense. We will take this fight because being able to capitalize on the vulnerability of our enemies is going to be really, really, really handy. Sure. But we're also going to be weakening them as our primary method of damage deflection. So if we can get the odd mushroom from this, which will also weaken the effect that they have when we're vulnerable, we're going to be able to lower their damage so many different ways that it's going to be really, really difficult for them to bring themselves back into the game. Actually, just going to go for damage here. Odd Mushroom, when vulnerable, take 25% more damage rather than 50%. And here, we take again nothing. We'll Smith again to upgrade the Wild Strike, because it gets 5 more damage, and we're already incentivized to play it, so could a match be made in a greater heaven? Here it's almost certain. 7 by 6. Someone actually recently told me that apparently the number of the amount of damage that it does is related to your health. Like your health at the time, because someone cheated out like ridiculous max HP, then came into this fight and the enemy tried to do like a 33 by 6. That's fucked up. I don't really like that as a mechanic as far as things go, if that is in fact how that works. I have no reason to disbelieve it though. Hand is full, yeah, and we've still got that Wild Strike to use. Ugh. Hopefully we stop drawing all of our wounds in the same deck. Same hands, rather. So either the deck needs to be thicker to mitigate the effect of all of these wounds turning up in the same hand, or, this is the one I'm leaning towards, we need to get a way to remove wounds when we kind of don't want them around. Now, True Grit will do that, but Immolate will do that way better and provide us with more AoE to capitalize on the benefit we're already getting from making everyone in an AoE vulnerable with the Thunderclap. So if Immolate is offered to us after this boss fight, we'll take that. If, however, I can't imagine why this would be the case, but if Immolate is not offered, it's 30 incoming damage, right? If Immolate is not offered, then immediately what I'm going to be looking towards Alright, I just heal after this boss fight anyway. Immediately what I'm going to be looking towards is going to be... as I stall for time to remember the name of it, double tap. Because with a hand as full as we can get ours, we're oftentimes going to have double tap and 2 attacks. Well, Fiendfire is a way to burn a lot of stuff. Offering is just so powerful though. Fiendfire oftentimes will, a couple turns in, be useful to deal 90 damage and exhaust my entire hand. But also, Offering gets us active so much faster. It's so powerful. Mark of Pain. This is actually one of the reasons I wanted to take Evolve earlier. Gain energy at the start of each turn. Start combats with 2 wounds in your draw pile. So that now works with our Evolve. Our deck needs to be a lot thicker to really survive what we've just done to it, though. Okay. I've just used most of my powerful attacks, and putting Daze in my deck is actually going to screw me. I'm going to drink an Ancient Potion here to prevent myself from getting hexed. Far out. And now we should just be able to kill with pretty much any draw. Easy. Warcry is not necessary for this deck. Nor Cleave, nor Entrench. So this would remove 3 strikes and add 5 bites. Yeah, we should do it. Bites are super powerful. Receive a relic for 85. Toolbox at the start of each combat. Add a random colorless card to your hand. Don't mind if I do. Huh. I mean, if you're gonna give me that random colorless card, I could use some warning. Just saying. At least tap my head. Alright, what have we got left in the deck? Just a bunch of bites. Go for the lethal, we'll be fine. Ooh, this is why I really wanted Rage, for turns like this. Where I know I'm just going to be playing attacks, and thankfully I did get extra energy courtesy of the Mark of Pain, and it becomes 18 block for 1 energy, which is just a ridiculously low price for 1 energy, for 18 block. Rupture is going to trigger maximum once, courtesy of Offering for us. We can use Burning Pact as a way to destroy some wounds, but it will also contribute to our overdrawing problems, so I don't really want it. Then Infernal Blade. I think Second Wind might be one of the best cards that we can pick up for managing our deck. I want maximum elites. Ooh, that Evolve. Baby. Easy Wild Strike, hit you with a bite, and you're actually dead at the start of the next turn. You do get to put 2 days into my deck, sure. But you are also really dead. So, you know. Tit for tat. We actually probably don't want to upgrade Offering. A lot of the time, that upgrade will prove to be much more trouble than it's worth when we end up with hands like this. So this deck is doing absolutely fine. Fine, 11-20. This deck is doing absolutely fine until I fill my hand with garbage, and then I'm sad about it forever. Probably don't need any of those. Let's just get our second wind, and then we'll be happy. Add a random colorless card to your hand. Don't mind if I do. Let's bandage up, sure. That'll be later, though. I don't need Rage in this hand. Offering first. number 1. Unfortunately, this won't die. Usually it would die to the Mercury Hourglass, but it gets the protection there. So now I'm going to need an AoE. There we are. Alright, fine. We get to accept some damage here. Not too pleased about it, but we'll be okay. Thunderclap, Wild Strike, bite. Hell of a lot of damage. Unfortunately, we just used both of our Thunderclaps before the enemy spawned. But fortunately, they spawned garbage. Rage is the bottom card of the deck right now. Okay, cool. We're going to go all for the Gremlin Leader because I believe we'll just be able to kill him next turn. Any reasonable draw should be able to here. That's why I said reasonable, because you can't guard against this kind of thing. So 7 with vulnerability would take it to 10, and then this would go to 11 with vulnerability. I still don't have the kill on that Gremlin Leader as a result of that. Ugh. At the very least, I do get to drop a weaken before I take a lot of damage. Oh, look, it's all the cards that would have given me lethal. Let's use as many bites as we can on these other targets before we kill the Gremlin Leader. And that is just so that I can get as much healing as possible. Juzu Bracelet, regular enemy combats are no longer encountered in question mark rooms. We should upgrade these bites as soon as possible, in fact. Not for the extra damage, but for the extra HP. I hit enough things that I'll take Jax there. Dreamcatcher, great. May as well be an empty relic for us. Whenever you rest, you may add a card to your deck. There's Dramatic Entrance. Probably should use Strength Potion in this fight, because we're going to have difficulty scaling at the same rate as the enemy here. Especially if we get a slow turn. Okay, that's not a slow turn. And yet we still had trouble. Alright. This turn plays itself. Thankfully, I know that Offering's in my next hand, as well as Wild Strike, so I know that I'm in a reasonable position in terms of the damage output I'll be able to muster. Prayer Wheel, non-boss chest now also contain cards. Between Prayer Wheel and Dreamcatcher, we've got 2 of the relics I hate the most in this game. Ooh, Dropkick! If the enemy is vulnerable, gain an energy and draw a card. That is going to be really, really handy for us, because this whole build is about making enemies vulnerable. Hello, Apotheosis. Evolve, Bash Bite, and we should be set up for lethal next turn, in fact. Ooh, we aren't. No, we are. We're fine. Nope. Very slightly we aren't. Damn. Pick up Dex Potion. There's the Rampage I wanted ages ago. We still do shuffle through our deck quite quickly, so I'll still take it. But I'm not happy about it. There's the Apotheosis as well. Crumbs. We do play a lot of attacks each turn, so Ornamental Fan is quite handy as well. I would really like Apotheosis. We'll take that and we'll remove another card from our deck. Remove one of these unupgraded bites. Was really hoping this fight was going to be a lot easier. Unfortunately, I didn't get a source of vulnerability or any AoE in the first turn, so I took a hell of a lot more damage there than I really think I ought. Now I'm just dead, right? That's really unfortunate. If we had either of our Thunderclaps in the opening hand, or the Offering, or the Apotheosis, or the Evolve, we would have been set up in so much of a better position. But the inability to weaken any of those enemies in the first round, and then the inability to kill the backliner with any reasonable speed, was really, really unfortunate. Obviously, I could have dodged this elite and gone for another camp. But instead, I wanted to hug this line so that I could go back in, rest at the final, and then go into the boss fight. Bye forever. Alright, let's try that one again. Under 26 minutes. Restart. I like the general idea for that deck. It did need a second wind, though. It needed another source of picking up defense, which would have been the second wind, and it needed a way to burn out those wounds, which we just couldn't find for the life of us. Lose all gold for a chosen rare card, and we'll take a feed. Beautiful. Let's go from a max HP build. Just a run where I build a hell of a lot of max HP into it. There's 1 3 elite line, but it only has 2 question marks. There's a 2 elite line with a lot more rests and question marks. Now let's go this way. Hell yes! 3 maximum HP just sitting there staring back at me at the very start of this fight. Don't mind if I do. Let's make this an HP loss build as well. Let's take a bloodletting. It's not going to be super useful for a while, but when we pair it with the right amount of draw... In fact, I think it's actually a kill here. Hell yes! When we pair it with draw, immediately gets draw, it becomes a lot better. I want the Pommel Strike because the Pommel Strike has the ability to draw twice. Now here I should take the 21 damage because I'm going to be building my max HP using Bite, and that's also going to build my current HP over the course of this floor. And I was already on high HP, so... Come on. Garbage. We get Decay. The end of our turn, we'll take 2 damage. Wasn't really keen on getting a curse, but... yeah. I shouldn't have actually even looked in this shop. It's my bad. I will actually take that cleave, though. I only wanted to hug the left side there so that I would be able to hit these 2 elites. I'm going to give it my God's honest try of trying to get the feed on Donu achievement. Actually, I should have played Bloodletting there and defended myself because it takes 3 damage, but it blocks 5. Let's just kill you. Alright, Mummified Hand. Whenever you play a power, a random card in your hand costs 0 for the rest of the turn. You know what? Let's take Fire Breathing. I never take Fire Breathing. At the end of your turn, for each attack you've played this turn, deal 1 damage to all enemies. When you upgrade that, it costs 0, so it's effectively just being able to cheat out some mana. For me, at least, it will be. Another fire breathing. Let's go. Let's just make a fire breathing deck. I've never done that before. That could be fun. I can't guarantee, like, for this enemy, I just need to kill it as fast as possible. So I can't guarantee that I would ever be able to utilize. Hang on. We'll cleave strike so that we can guarantee that the fire breathing hits bash. Unfortunately, that does mean that a couple of those were not bashed. Like, a couple of those attacks could have been affected by the vulnerability that bash applied, but it was more important to guarantee that I could play everything. Frozen Egg. Whenever you add a power card to your deck, it is immediately upgraded. That works really well with a Mummified Hand. And now we're probably going to take most powers that we see. Fire Breathing Anger deck? Fuck it, let's go. Why not? Red Skull, while your HP is at or below 50%, you have an additional 3 strength. That's going to be really handy for us. Although I will rest here for safety's sake, because I am planning on going for another elite. Evolve immediately upgrades as well. It could play as part of my card draw. Fine, let's go. Just powers, let's go. Oh, unfortunately I can't just open with a bash here, because I've got the 3 extra strength from Red Skull. Still a pretty good opening there though. I will likely drop the weakness. Alright, feed is in my next hand, so we might be able to kill. No, we won't. Dang it. Get me all the way back to that feed, please. Defend myself there just so that I don't take the damage to the decay, and we got feed. Beautiful. Omamori, negate the next 2 curses you obtain. That's really handy because we already got a curse in our deck. Rupture is whenever you lose HP from a card, gain 1 strength. That'll happen every time I play Bloodletting, but that's a really rare event. I could take a True Grit right now, but I'm only ever going to have the 2 wounds in my deck from Evolve. So I don't think I'd take a True Grit. Now, we do need to draw more cards with Pommel Strike, and we need both of our powers to cost 0. I can kill the backliner here, which is lovely. Excellent. And feed on them as well. Not particularly pleased about the amount of damage I'm going to have to take here, but it's okay. We'll be fine. Ish. Dual wield? I can dual wield my angers and... Actually, I can dual wield any attack or power that has been reduced to 0 cost from Mummified Hand and then just go off. Unfortunately, we have the slime boss here, so if I don't rest, I am dead. So that's not fun. I will actually use my bite there because I don't think it's very likely that I get to use it as a flawless ever. I'll also dual wield the anger there, don't mind if I do. I'm going to be treating the fire breathing as my AoE. Beautiful. Usually it's a huge problem in this fight that you don't have enough AoE, but we'll be fine, I think. Excellent. And just all-out attacks for the rest of this will be fine. Offering would be a great pickup for us, obviously. Another feed? Sure. Most of our things are 1 and 0 costs, so there's no reason to take Snecko Eye, unfortunately. Black Blood is a little more healing after each fight. Velvet Choker is not going to be good for us because we want to be able to make something cost 0, then dual wield it. So we use a power, it makes something else cost 0. So that's 1 card played. Then we dual wield that card, then that is another card played, and that has 3 other cards that cost 0 in our hand. And that's 5 cards played, and we've only used 2 energy so far out of our total 4. So Velvet Choker's pass, unfortunately. We'll take Black Blood. That replaces Burning Blood at the end of combat, heal 10 HP. I love this. Hands like this is super awesome because I just get to play everything. Because they decrease the cost of one another. I will save the feed here. Wait, I have 2 feeds, don't I? Oh, yeah, I do. Somehow I don't feel too good in this fight. You willed that anger. Could have done 1 more damage there. I think I need to pretty much constantly be below half HP in order to really have an effect. Because without that extra strength, we struggle. Again, I should have used Bloodletting. I'm gonna put an Anger Plus in the deck. I'll upgrade all of my strikes and defense here, because I actually do use them still. Not good. Not good. We play a lot of various things here in these fights. Constraining myself to only play attacks is a bit rough. Havoc is nice, but it doesn't work in an evolved deck, unfortunately. Sorry, Clash is nice. It doesn't work in an evolved deck. Havoc is okay, but again, not that great. Sure. Let's hit him with those. Get our double defenses up. 3 energy is really constrictive. Alright, another 12 there. Not too pleased about the fact that I wasn't able to turn around and kill that turn. Perfect. Got to set up that ordering so that I was able to get the benefit out of my feed. I also have another feed in the deck. I've got to remind myself of that. So don't kill this Mystic. Keep it on low health if at all possible, but don't kill it. Perfect. Another explosive potion's a really good pickup here. There's a lot of AoE that we need to deal with. Ooh, Frozen Egg. Whenever you add a power card to your deck, it is upgraded. We'll immediately upgrade the Brutality, and then it's going to be in my opening hands because it is innate. And it will lower the cost of other things in my opening hands with the modified power. I need to have larger opening hands, though, so that I can really capitalize on it, because as you can see, I've got a lot of energy left over right now. Am I just dead again in this fight? Not yet, no. That's pretty close to dead. And we're vulnerable. That's no good. Backliner is dead now. Hold off. And feed on the front line on Matroshka. The next two chests you open contain 2 relics. I can take that Immolate. I do have curses in my deck. And I've got wounds. I've got a lot of stuff to burn, in fact. Didn't want to rest there, but I will. Okay. You know what? I'm dual wielding Brutality. I just think I'm going to need to draw 3 cards a turn here. 2 cards, rather. 2 cards extra. Gosh. Ryan, brain, please. Alright. Fire breathing, fire breathing. One kill. 2 kill. Red kill. Blue kill. And I've got another feed in my deck. We'll be okay. In fact, I'm going to immolate one of those defends. Do some more AoE damage. Actually going to drop an explosive potion here so that I can use a feed for the kill. Just so that I can get the extra max HP. Pantograph at the start of boss combats, heal 25 HP. That is going to be really handy for us. Turn down all of that nonsense, though. Molten Egg. Hell. Okay, good. Molten Egg. Whenever you add an attack card to your deck, it is upgraded, but Bag of Preparation is what I really care about. At the start of each combat, draw 2 additional cards. That's exactly what I was talking about when I picked up Brutality, that I want to have a larger opening hand so that it can really benefit from the fact that I've got Brutality in my opening hands. Only one Evolve is going to be fine because this guy's going to add wounds to our deck. I kind of want to lower the cost of the double up on the Anger. almost fully defended that turn. Delay that. Attack. Oh, God. That's 24 incoming damage if I don't kill this turn. You know what? With that many other cards in my deck, being Angers, I think, yeah, I benefit super heavily from just getting the vulnerability applied this turn. Self-forming clay, whenever you lose HP in combat, gain 3 block next turn. That's really handy because it is going to give us 3 block every single turn. It's going to be like a constantly activated lower metallicize. And that's courtesy of the fact that we already have Brutality, and Brutality is in all of our opening hands. Double tap is a really good pickup here as well. The fire-breathing archetype hasn't really worked out for us, has it? Good. Golly gosh. Are we dead? Yeah, I think we're dead. Just like no way to defend ourselves against this. Heck. Well, I'm glad that I got to try that archetype. I'm saddened that it didn't work out. Obviously, it needed more defense. That's not up for debate. I was really hoping that just taking the feeds and being cautious in my fights would enable me to still get the kills faster. If both of these were upgraded, if I got them after I got the frozen egg, I think we would have been in a much better position. I think Evolve didn't really add that much to the deck. I think Brutality was super, super important. Having that double tap earlier would have also been really, really handy because we do have Cleave and we do have Pommel Strike. I'm trying to think, is there a way that this deck archetype would have worked? Because I wanted it to not have that much defense. I wanted it to be aggressive. I wanted it to take damage. Having the self-forming clay a lot earlier would have saved us a lot of HP. But it still would have taken us losing a lot of HP to save that HP. I think this deck had too many win conditions, or rather, it didn't have any strong win conditions. It had a lot of soft win conditions. It had the duplication of the anger along with the fire breathing. So the 2 angers and the 2 fire breathing were 1 win condition, 1 soft win condition again. The value that I get out of all of the different powers added to the deck using Mummified Hand and Frozen Egg is another soft win condition. It's a soft win condition because it wins because of value. Trying to use dual wield and double tap so that I would be able to just cast a bunch of 0-cost cards. Again, another soft win condition. These are all things that are quite good independently when you also have a strong win condition like a Rampage or a Demon Form or a Barricade or, you know, any of those kinds of things that by themselves define a deck. But individually, I don't think they stand strong enough to make a super strong deck. Also, not having an option, this can't be overstated, not having an option after the end of the first floor to pick up extra energy is killer. It is absolutely killer. Extra energy is so damn important in this game. And sometimes it's not possible to pivot at the end of the first floor to try and go, okay, well, I didn't get my extra energy, now how do I run this build? This build, however, possibly could have pivoted, and I was trying to do that with the 0-cost cards and the dual wields and the ability to cheat out 0-cost cards with a Mummified Hand, but while doing that, I was incapable of defending myself. And I also wasn't capable of killing fast enough to really make it worth my while. For the moment, though, my name has been Rhapsody, the name of the game has been Slay the Spire. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves. That has been a normal run. Heavens to Betsy, a normal run. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.